You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors, they kinda tell me what I'm thinking. I fell in love with the way we are and the way we lose it. There's something different about us, and the reason why we stay. We fly around like paper planes, they never know where we will fall. Nobody can see us, still they wanna tear us apart. There's something different about the way we are.
How everybody doing? I can't hear you. How everybody doing? All right. So good. Thank you for sharing part of your Sunday with us. We appreciate that. Just thank God for allowing us to see a new day, to breathe new air. As my 8-year-old said, Lord, thank you for giving us oxygen. So we thank God for that. Let's give Danielle a hand for putting this together. Awesome young lady. Yeah. And what we're going to do now, she just turned 45 yesterday, so we're going to sing happy birthday to her. Okay, I'm going to start. Because you're beautiful for your age. I'm like, she was 32. All right, we're going to sing happy birthday to her. Can we all do that? All right, don't be shy. Ready? Go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. While you do that, I'm gonna go ahead and sing like 60 seconds of this song. Anybody know how many siblings I have? Four. I know. 19. Who said 19? Oh yeah, I did. I have 11 sisters and 8 brothers from Mississippi. Yeah, I grew up. Somebody said, yeah, for real? Yes. And my dad was PK kid, preacher's kid. So I grew up in the church, on the side of the church, around the church. It's like we were always going to church. But I thank God for my dad, for the foundation he gave us, and thank God for him being our spiritual eyes. But there were times where I felt like we were going to church way too much. And there were times I pretended I was sick so I wouldn't have to go. My dad was like, I don't care where your mind will be, but your body will be in church. You'll feel better once you get there. But I just thank him for his teaching, his guidance. And I'm going to sing about 60 seconds of God has smiled on me, because he has definitely smiled on me. And one thing so good about God is that in spite of what we go through, in spite of ourselves, he still loves us unconditionally. And people where we judge each other, but we're not supposed to judge, we're supposed to pray for each other. And that's one thing about God, unconditional love. And I just thank him for that. Thank him for just smiling on my life, and just thank him for not just the good days, but the days I have to climb mountains. But he's amazing. So I just want to, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I found. Was blind, but now I see. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God
Thank you, Ruthie. For those of you guys that don't know our relationship, we've known each other since we played for the Monarchs together. And so we were rivals to start, competing against each other, and now we're best friends. So we always push each other to be better, and we always help each other be better. So, can you guys hear okay? All right, awesome. One of the reasons I started this Play for Him, everybody's wondering, what is this? What is this exactly? I do a lot of training on the court, so I am working on the court with teams, semi-privates, privates, all day long, teaching kids basketball, and saying hi and bye to parents, and meeting new people every day, but I don't really get a chance to speak into the lives of the clients that I train and the parents that I meet and the people that I meet every day. So that's why I started this, to build a community here in Sacramento, to strengthen Sacramento, to bring us all together, whether you're a coach, whether you're a parent, whether you're a kid or a young adult, right, Jack and Jalen? Okay, so we do something different every month. So we have different speakers every month. And a lot of the speakers that I get are just dear friends to me, like Ruthie is to me. And we actually have here today a special guest, Scott Shimada. I actually pronounce his name wrong all the time, so we all make mistakes. Scott actually started Play for Him, and he's from the Bay Area, and I actually asked him, I said, hey, can I use your Play for Him, because I love the play signal for him, and start something in Sacramento, like just a come together, a gathering for God, playing for Him. And it has to, so associated with sports, obviously every one of you guys here is here because you know somebody that plays sports or you play sports yourselves. And so, Scott, do you want to come up for a second? Since he's here, might as well take a few minutes and he'll tell you, I've actually done a Play for Him testimony for him, and he gets people from all over the United States to give a 2-3 minute testimony. And I'll let you take it from there. I've done it for him, and many people have gone online and seen my testimony.
It's crazy. So I'm originally from the Bay Area. I'm a youth pastor. Been a youth pastor for about 20 years now. But 2015, my buddy was assistant head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. And he said, hey, we made a video. Our team made a video of a bunch of us sharing our testimonies. Check it out. We're going to pass out 30,000 DVDs at the game. And I watched it. I was like, man, this is awesome. Guys like Russell Okung and Russell Wilson and Sherman Smith, a bunch of guys. And I thought, man, we should do that in the Bay Area. So originally I thought, I'm just going to contact the Niners or the Warriors or Giants and put one video together and put it on YouTube, and that would be that. And it's funny because that was my idea. But God had a different idea, and He evolved it into this nonprofit. I didn't even know how to start a nonprofit. And then we decided, unless you're a fan of that team, you're not going to spend 15 minutes clicking on a video, right? Probably. But you might spend 3 to 5 minutes watching an individual person. So the Seahawks had contacted me and said, hey, why don't you be the Bay Area version of what we're doing in Seattle? I said, cool, that's easy, because I didn't even have a name or anything. And he goes, but you have to use our videographer. I said, that's fine. I said, how much is it? He said, for a 15-minute video, it's $22,000. And I said, you are crazy. I said, how am I going to get $22,000? And he said, well, just ask the players. I said, that's good. That's easy for you to say. You play for the Seahawks. I can't go up to people and say, hey, I want to make a video. Can you give me $20,000 for a 15-minute video? And so I talked to my friends on the Raiders, and they're like, yeah, we'll pay for it. I said, okay, that's fine for you, but then we'll just make one video and that's it. But then God opened up these doors, and we decided instead of, and they wanted to make DVDs, that pass out DVDs. But honestly, you're not gonna take a DVD and watch it, right? For like a little 15-minute video. And so we had this idea that what if, instead of DVDs, we print these cards? And so when people ask for their autographs, they hand out these cards, and it has a QR code, and you can use your phone. And so even if you don't have time to sign autographs right then and there and share the gospel with people, they pass these out, and people can use their smartphones, and the camera will pick this up and it'll link them to their videos. And so like Ruthie and Danielle and Derek Carr and Dean Johnson over here, and a lot of other people, they have their own personal Play for Him page. That on their page is everything that their fans need to know about them. Some of them have their own personal website that the link is on there, or how to follow them on social media. Okay, and so we have that, and then also we have these shirts. And so the idea is, so that's a play button. Some people think it says just for him, but it's actually a play button because we play videos, but you also play on the court, you play on the field. And so, and we sell the shirts, but I make sure we tell people we're a ministry. We are not trying to make money off the shirts. We just want to get these out there, and then whatever profit we do make on the shirts, it goes into making more videos. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of different colors, different teams, but here I brought some black Laker colors because somebody here won 3 NBA championships with the Lakers. I'm a Warriors fan, sorry, but I appreciate you. And we just take Mike Penberthy, who's one of the assistant coaches for the Lakers, and he won a championship with the Lakers too. And I told him when we were recording them, I said, Mike, you know I'm a Warriors fan, but you're making me want to root for you this year. It's killing me. And he looked at me and he goes, Scott, we ain't that close. I said, all right, I ain't gonna root for you then. No. But anyway, so we have some black ones, and then we also have some gray ones, just limited. We only printed a few, and then also some 49er colors. So if you want any, they're over there. $20 including tax and whatever, it's just $20 flat. If you want any, help yourself. Also grab some cards, these are free, all right? And I wanna close with this real last story. When we first started this, in 2015, I got invited to the Warriors Chapel. Now, if you remember, 2015 was when they won that's the first time they won the championship in 40 years. And I was in the chapel, and I got to talk to some of the guys like Draymond, David Lee, Iguodala, John Livingston, and it was really cool. And then after the game, my friend invited me to talk to Steph Curry after the game. And I talked to Steph a little bit before, but he wouldn't know who I am, so I'm not trying to name drop. But I remember we were outside the locker room waiting for Steph Curry to come out of the locker room, and we're talking to one of the referees. And this man had heard that my friend was one of the chaplains, and he was just pouring out his heart, sharing about how he wanted to live for Jesus. He was tired of living for the world, and he was just sweating, and it was just so emotional. But at the same time, Steph Curry left the locker room, and I was like, this is a great story, man, but man, that's Steph Curry. But I was listening to him to share, and then after like 5 minutes, he left, and my friend, he said, I don't know when Steph's gonna come out the locker room. I said, he's right over there. He goes, oh, let's go talk to him. So we went over there to go talk to Steph, and mind you, we're not at a restaurant, we're not bothering him, we're not interrupting his meal or anything like that, but he's talking to a couple people. And so I'm just waiting for him for like 5 minutes, which is kind of a long time to stand next to somebody waiting for him. And then I went over to go talk to one of his teammates, Harrison, and I was talking to him for a little bit, and then I came back and I was standing next to Steph. Perfect situation, right? I had my buddy who's gonna vouch for me. I had shirts for him and his wife and his daughter, and I was gonna have all this time just to share with them what Play for Him is, and we were just starting out. And then I heard this voice, and I heard God say to me, Scott, walk away. And I was like, no, I didn't hear that, right? Why? Who would walk away from Stephen Curry, right? Perfect situation. And then I started almost like arguing with God. And I said, God, this is Stephen Curry, as if he doesn't know. I said, this is Stephen Curry. He's about to be MVP. He's about to win us our first championship. There's nobody in the world that I'd rather have start Play for Him than Stephen Curry. Why would I walk away? And I said, God, he is gonna make Play for Him awesome. And then I heard, no, Scott, I will walk away. And so I turned to my friend and I said, hey, I'm gonna go. And he's like, what? I said, I'm gonna go. I don't think that this is the right time. If God wants this to happen, He'll make it happen. And my ride home had already left, and so I had to text my other buddy who's one of the beat writers, and I said, hey, can I get a ride home? And he's not a believer, and I told him what happened. He thought I was crazy. Like, why would you ever walk away from Steph Curry? But then after that point, it's like God started opening doors and creating other avenues. And then that's when I got to meet Dean Johnson. So if you don't know Dean Johnson, this man, he breaks baseball bats. When I met him, he told me that he broke a 2x4 with his chest. And you know, when people tell those stories, you're kind of like, whatever. And he goes, no, a couple of the Oakland A's coaches had introduced us. And I was like, you broke a 2x4 with your chest, huh? And he goes, yeah, you want to see the video? And I was like, you got it on video? And he showed me. He ran, people were holding like a race. He ran through and broke a 2x4 with his chest, right? So if there's any 2x4s around here, maybe we can help him do that a little bit. But because I met Dean, then he introduced me to Danielle. And Danielle introduced me to Ruthie. And I was like, you know what? And God has been blessing this ministry. And it's just amazing. So if you guys get a chance, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Play4Him 24/7. Or check out the videos at playforhim.org. And hopefully it'll be a blessing to you guys. Share, spread the word. And I'm so excited. I've been wanting to come to this thing for months now, and I'm so happy that I was able to come and spend some time with you guys tonight. So thank you, and God bless.
We have Gabby from West Campus. We have Lainey from Bradshaw Christian. We have Jalen. Where do you go to school again?
Folsom.
I just want him to talk. Okay. And we have Jack from Sierra College. Okay, so this guy right here, been training him for a while. He never says a word. So I went out on a limb and I invited him to be on my panel today. This guy is a guy of many words, so they'll go great together. Lainey, I've been training for a while, and Gabby I've known since how old? Middle school. I think I was at her championships at Sutter. Yeah. So it's been a while. So the fun part about my job is I get to create relationships with all of these players who are all great players. They've all impressed me in some way or shape or form, and better yet, impressed God. And I just have some questions for them. I'm only going to ask them a few because hopefully you guys brought questions that you want to know as parents. In the last session a month before, there was a lot of good questions, and we learned a lot. I learned a lot from Monique Gambers, actually was on our panel, so I learned a lot from the coaches on our panel, so I'm about to learn something from you. I text them the questions, but I do not know the responses at all. They never text me the responses, so I don't know what's going to come out. But my first question for these guys right here is, I had texted Devin George, who's going to speak today, and I said, you know, what's the basis of your speech? Like, what you want to talk about? And he said, stay ready. And so I thought about how these guys right here, how do you guys, just something short, how do you guys stay ready in sports? And how do you think that helps you going forward in life? Who wants to start with that? Oh, they're already scratching their heads. Jack, you good? Come on, Jack.
So for me, it's loud. Whew. So for me, staying ready, just all about confidence, you know what I mean? So any situation you're in, whether it be on the court, on the field, if you do track, anything like that, it's all about having confidence in yourself, because on the court in athletics, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know which player's going to do what you're going to do, if a shot's going to go in or it won't go in. But the biggest thing is just never losing confidence, because it's a long game. Throughout the course of a game, there's many ups and downs, but you know, you always got to have faith within yourself that you're going to make the next play, you're going to do what you need to do to help your team win. So confidence is the biggest thing I can kind of add, just stay ready. So yeah.
I'll say the same thing as him, confidence, because when you're by yourself and you're working in the gym or in school or in life, you know that you can do it, you know you can do the basics. So when it's in display, you know that you're going to be able to do it.
That's the most I've heard him talk all year.
Yeah, I would say confidence in yourself and then your teammates too, because I mean, being good with yourself is like good, but being able to have like confidence in your teammates and knowing that they can do what they can do. Like each person has their own role. So like knowing I got my role done and then them having their role, I think it just like makes you stay ready for anything.
I agree with them, but I would also like to add that I like to stay mentally focused. Not with just myself, but like with my teammates, make sure we're all mentally focused and on the same page, because we don't want to have to go through something where someone's on a different mindset. So we want to all stay on the same page. So yeah.
I like what they all said because it's confidence. How do you gain confidence on the court? You do repetition, right? It's done in the preparation. So if you do the preparation in life and then you get on the court, you're prepared, you're ready. And then really the rest is up to God. That's where faith comes in. And so I like all your answers. That was awesome. So this is the one. All you parents, are you listening? Okay. So what is the best thing your parents can do or do to help you stay ready and prepare for the future? Oh my goodness. Okay.
I can definitely say showing your support, and also a big thing like constructive criticism, because if they're just yelling at you for no reason, I have firsthand experience, then it's not going to go anywhere. But as they're yelling at you, if they're telling you how they can improve, it's more or less of hatred than just, it's like they know you can do better, and they're not really disappointed in you.
Yeah, support, like Jalen said, that's a big thing. But also, I just think, parents, don't let your kids be satisfied, in anything. If they just had a good game, if they scored 25 points and whatnot, always keep challenging them throughout the course of the development, starting from when they're young. I remember in 3rd grade when I was 9 years old, I had a little rec game. I had my first 20-point game. I had 22 points. I felt like I was the coldest dude on 2 feet walking out of that gym, I promise you right now. And I get home, and my dad goes, What? You think you're that guy now? You took 25 shots. I'm like, sheesh, man, come on, give me a break. But that's my point, from a young age, he kind of instilled that in me, never be satisfied. If you have a good game, okay, string a lot more together. And individual stuff doesn't matter. It's all about the team at the end of the day. So just challenge your kids, not just in sports, but in life. Academics are a big thing too. If your kids are doing well, show your support, tell them you're doing a good job and all that, but say, hey, maybe you can do better in this area, because that'll really, speed up the growth of your kids to be the best person that they can be. So, yeah.
I think holding them accountable for things. I think as students, we, especially in academics, we think, oh, I'll study for that test later because I did good on the last time. But I think just holding them accountable for what they did wrong, but what they did good, tell them. It's for us, I think our parents, saying that we did good in something is more than having a friend say it, because it's from someone close to you. So holding them accountable and just encouraging them in situations, and especially if they had a hard game, say, hey, you did this, but you need to work on this, and it just pushes us to be better.
Yeah, accountability is a big thing for me. But I'd also like to say, for personal experiences, I have failed a lot in not just in basketball, but in life too. So I feel for parents, if you let your kids fail, sometimes not saying let them fail, but let them make the mistakes and not tell them what to do every time, tell them how to live their life, but help them guide them to what's the right path and help them see what's the right thing to do and stuff. So yeah.
Good job, guys. Like I told them, there's no wrong answer. Okay, so all these are right answers. I think for me, and I shared in last month also, and it goes on what she said, my parents allowed me to fail. So when I came home at night, there was security in knowing that it's okay to fail, and they still love me, and no matter what. And I think that that's important, because in this world, I was performance driven. I put a lot of stress, a lot of pressure on myself. So if I had a bad game, if I had a 20-point game or a bad game, my dad would just walk away. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. And he did. He would support me. He would sit in the crowd. He would point Cynthia. She went to school with me in high school. And he would sit up there in the crowd. He would just go like this. Right? And that meant play with fire in your eyes. That's what that meant. Play hard. And that's all he cared about. If I gave my best, that's all my parents cared about. And they gave me the ability, they you know, we didn't have trainers, we had to teach ourselves back in the day. So we didn't have all that available to us, but they provided food, they provided clothing, they provided opportunities for me to excel. And that was up to me to take it from there. So I think that was what my appearance instilled in me, is it's okay to fail, to succeed. And they gave me a strong foundation to do that. I have another question for you guys. So those of you that are coaches in the stands, one more question, okay? So what, and you don't have to not everybody has to answer, but what can a coach do for you on and off the court to help you play better or be better or prepare for life?
So a big thing as a coach is just don't be a coach just on the court. You know what I mean? So be there for your kids on the court, but also off the court. I feel like there's a lot of coaches that, you know, they get caught up in just the whole AAU circuit and all that, and just, you know, do this, do that on the court, off the court, you know, whatever. But for so many kids, they're going through so much outside of basketball and outside of sports that they may not have somebody to talk to. They may not have parents in the home. They may not have a brother or sister. So a coach can truly make a difference. And so in terms of on the court stuff, just, you know, as a coach, be intense when it's needed, but also be, and probably the best example is in the moments where most players would be, you know, panicking, or the high pressure situations, be calm. Because that's the biggest thing. If you teach your kids to be calm within those moments, that can go a really long way. So just being there for your players on and off the court, that's the biggest thing I would say.
I would say, as a coach, you should definitely have a discussion with your player and tell them like what their role on the team is. Because as a player, if you know what your role on the team is, you can go out there, get your mindset ready, and as you're playing, you know what you need to do. And if you know what you need to do, you can do more. So you just make sure you do what your role is, so the coach is happy. And if you're doing what your role, you get more playing time, and you can do more.
So my coach would take me out to lunch when he texts me back. That's like not rare though. But when he would take me out to lunch, it wasn't always about, hey, this is what you did wrong in the game, or this is what you need to work on. It was like, how do I say it? It was like, how are you doing type of question, like a conversation that you would have with a friend. And I think those are so important, because it's not just about basketball, because basketball at some point it's gonna end, but you have like conversations where it's more impactful, like what's wrong, like let's talk about it. And I think that's like the most important thing a coach can do off the court. But on the court, like be intense, you know, get up in our face. I think that like, especially if you want to play the next level, that's what it's gonna be like. So don't always be like so soft, but like really push us. But you know, when we do something good, you know, say, hey, you did something great. Or when we do something bad, say, hey, you need to work on this, you need to fix this. So.
Like how I said before, like off the court connection with your coaches is like a big thing. Like, because they're gonna be in your life for a while, and it's a big part of your life, like high school, middle school. If they're your coach for a long time, they're gonna be there. So connections for a big thing off the court and on the court. On the court, especially for me, accountability, holding us accountable, even if we did something good, still make sure like, oh, this is what happened in the game, we can do better off of that, you know? And also, for me, I don't really like sugarcoating. So coaches who don't sugarcoat and like tell me like the honest truth, because I don't want to be told that like, oh, you're doing really, really well, but I know I had some things I need to work on, so that's some things I need, yeah, coaches.
Talking about, I think every one of these players expressed that they want their coach to believe in them and care. And I think that pretty much sums it up. And Coach Cloyce is here from West Campus supporting Gabby today. So I thought you were going to say a bunch of stuff that you wanted him to do.
He does it already. He's like a good coach, and he like holds me accountable. Like when I need to do something more, or I do something good, or I need to do something better, and I need to work on it. like on, off the court, especially for like next games. And so he holds me accountable. And I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Do any of you guys, before we move on, have any questions for any of these people up here? You guys don't have to answer them. I'll answer them for you if you need to, but do you guys have any questions? No? Yes. What's the biggest challenge you've had to overcome, whether on or off the court?
For me personally, on the court is my height. Yeah. Like I'm a small guard and I have to find ways to like work around it. And I know that for me being a smaller guard, I have to push myself 10 times harder than everyone else in court. That's like how my mindset has to be every day. So I can never have like those days off. I can never be lackadaisical. I have to be focused and prepared every day. So those are the things I have to do.
Anybody else? Taylor, you want to take that? Not that one? Oh, he says sure.
I think one of the biggest challenges I have to overcome is having like terrible games. Because after the game, you feel like no one believes in you, but you just got to have the mindset that you know what you're doing. Like I said earlier, believe in the basics that you've done in the gym and all the hours you spent.
Anybody else? We had a question over here. No? You want to know what obstacles Jack faced? Is that the one you're pointing to? Okay, let's check it out.
So that's really cool, man. You know, the Special Olympics, playing basketball and having an opportunity. I have a friend that does the same thing over at Sacramento State University, so that's really cool. So props to you for doing that. That's really, yeah, give him a hand, guys. So yeah, the biggest thing I would say, obstacles, just know that playing basketball, it's not always going to be, there's not always going to be highs. It's peaks and valleys, highs and lows. There's going to be times in your development where you've been working hard and you feel like, oh man, it's really paying off and all this stuff happening. You know, you're stringing together a really good few games. And then there's going to be points where you're still working hard, but you have a few bad games. It's easy to lose confidence in that situation and stuff like that. You question, like kind of like Jalen said, if anybody believes in you anymore, if your coaches believe in you, even your family. I know that sounds crazy, but as an athlete, that's just kind of what it can come down to sometimes. But always just believing in yourself through the highs and the lows. When there's lows, just know keep working and the highs will come. And when there's highs, just know that to, you know, be humble. Don't get too high, don't get too low, because there's peaks and valleys, and you just always gotta trust in yourself and trust the process. But the most important thing I can tell you, playing defense and shooting, all this stuff with basketball, number one thing, just have fun. Because not everybody is in a position that we all are to be able to play this beautiful game. And so don't take it for granted. Play every second like it's your last and just, yeah, have fun with it.
Thank you guys. Really quick, I don't want to let this moment pass, and then we're gonna go on. You guys are good for all night, right? Like you guys are okay? Because we're gonna go a little bit over. All right, you guys good with that? Because all of you guys were a little bit late, so it's your fault. No. So I just have to have this lady just share like 30 seconds. She was shooting one day and we were doing shot form, and I saw on her arm she has a tattoo. So she was explaining to me what that tattoo means, and maybe you can explain just a little bit what that means.
So I have a tattoo on my arm. It's Psalms 56:3. It's when I'm afraid I put my trust in you. And I grew up just like really fearful of what's gonna happen, especially in games. Like, are we gonna win? Are we gonna lose? How am I gonna play personally? And fearful in basketball and then fearful in life. You know, coming in high school, you know, junior year, very fearful about college, you know, getting looks. It's all so scary. So it was just a reminder saying, you know, I have this God who can do anything. And that just like, you know, reassures me. So it's like when I'm afraid, I just put my trust in God. You know, whatever outcome it is, that's what was meant to be. So like just giving God like the tiny things, like for me, like I give God basketball, and you know, what he does with it is like what's supposed to happen. I can't be like, oh, God, I want this and I want that. It's like, no, he'll give me what needs to happen. So I think that's how faith has really helped me in sports and life.
Thank you so much. Can you guys seriously give these guys a round of applause? Because you guys did way better than I thought. And I thought you were going to do really well. That's why I picked you guys. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for having me. This is one of my favorite things to do, really, is tell my story to parents and young kids, to really give them hope, give them some pointers, some tricks, some things that can help you, because this game of life, we all go through it, and this is a cycle, and we're all going for the same thing. I want to start off with my childhood, high school, college, pros, and really what's important is what I'm doing now with my nonprofit, my development company, and being a developer and helping underserved communities like the one that I grew up in, which is most important. And I tell a lot of guys and kids that I played for 11 years in the NBA, and that seems like a long time, but really, hopefully we live till 80 or 90 years old. That's a 1/10, 1/9 of our life. And what are we gonna do the rest of our lives? How are we gonna make an impact on people's lives going forward? So the most important thing is what I'm doing now. But starting off, grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. As you can see, it's still snowy and cold there. I bounce back and forth from Sac to Minneapolis still, so I live in both places. But growing up, I hadn't left Minnesota until the Lakers drafted me in 1999. I'd been in cold Minnesota and hadn't left. I was always short. I was the smallest kid. I was always the skinniest kid. I was always the shortest, and I just ended up growing late. I was always a small point guard, decent player. I tried out every year for our Minnesota select teams. Renee Pulley, he's like our big AAU guru in Minnesota, and he cut me every year. And he knew my parents. He could have, gave me, pulled me aside and said, hey, you can join my team. But he cut me every single year. But every year, I kept going up to the coaches and asking what I need to do to make the team next year. Most times, kids get discouraged when they have a failure, when they don't get a good grade on the test, when they don't make a basketball team. But that's giving you the answers of what you need to work on. That's giving you the will to keep pushing. It's telling you, here's where you're weak at. This is where you need to grow at. This is where you need to get better at. And I kept coming back year after year. He cut me every year. Tried out for the Minnesota select team. And I don't know what was wrong with me in my mind. Maybe it was just I was determined. Maybe I just had a lot of confidence in myself. But I kept coming back out every year. And finally, probably going into my junior year, from being the smallest guy always on the court, going into my junior year, I was probably 5'9". And then going into my senior year, I ended up getting to 6'3" over one summer. And it was the craziest thing over a 3-month period of time that I've ever been through. And I can remember falling asleep all the time, sleep until 3, 4 in the morning, in the day. My dad would come home from work almost, I'm still asleep, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, get up, yelling at me, thinking I'm lazy, but I was just tired. I'd get in the cars, my knees were starting to hurt. And then what clicked to me is, when I realized, like, man, I'm really growing, is that my shoes were like growing, every week, new shoes. So I keep coming to my mom, I'm like, hey, my shoes hurt, they hurt. And she's like, I'm not buying you no shoes, you're trying to get some new shoes. I'm like, no, my feet. So we go to Foot Locker, I don't know if they still have a little metal thing there, you put your feet on there, like, ma'am, these shoes are too small. And then I started noticing, I had hair back in the day, but now I don't. I was in the mirror, used to do my hair, and then all of a sudden I had to kind of start ducking to brush my hair, and so I'm like, oh wow, I am getting taller. People would see me a week later, like, man, you growing? I'm like, I don't know, I didn't know. And so, hit 6'3", I come back to school, and I didn't see my friends in the summertime, so my parents, we lived where we lived because I have two other brothers, I have an older and a younger, I'm the middle child, and so they wanted us to go to private school because the education system in our neighborhood, it just really wasn't up to par with my parents' standards. And so they said, well, we're gonna work 2 jobs each, and we're gonna send our kids to private school. So I didn't see my friends that I went to school with until school started. I'd be home. And when they came back, they're like, what happened? What you been eating? What are you doing? What's the problem? So I ended up playing, no scholarships, still decent basketball player. And then one school called. It was a local D3 school, Augsburg. And he recruited me. It was 10 minutes from my house. I stayed at home my first year just to kind of figure it out. I still want to play basketball, still want to get education, so I went to Augsburg. It's a D3 school in Minneapolis. And when I got there, I remember the first meeting we had, the coach, he kind of starts, he said, hey, I produce business professionals. If anybody in here thinks they're going to the NBA, get out right now, because you're gonna go to class. I mean, he just gave us his whole speech. I wasn't thinking of the NBA. The NBA was a lost dream. When I didn't grow, when I didn't get any D1 offers, when I didn't get any scholarship offers, I had student loans going into school. So I was like, the dream of playing the NBA was lost. But as I got in there, I went from 6'3" to 6'7". I started growing again. Hit another growth spurt. And at this time, I knew what it felt like when I was growing at a rapid pace. Like, I'm like, man, I'm growing again. I'm growing faster and faster. I'm growing faster. I'm sleepy. My knees were hurting again. Same type of things that happened when I hit my other growth spurt, because it wasn't too long ago. So, freshman year comes up, and I was a decent basketball player. And by the time the season started, I had grown, and I had another guy that coach wanted to make us earn our way. And so in D3, you have a JV and a varsity. And he says, well, we're gonna start you guys off on the JV. You gotta prove yourself. And we're like, on the JV, what is that about? You know, why are we gonna start on the JV? He said, you just gotta earn it. So we go in, and probably this other guy named Alex, we were probably the best kids on the team. I remember us going up north in Minnesota, and coach took the JV team to play this tournament. And we dominated. And I just remember the coaches asking, like, what kind of team do you have? Like, you got these 2 guys on your JV team. Like, what kind of team do you guys have that they can't get on your team? And so after that, we get moved up. So we start playing. And in college, the summertime, all of the D1 players, all of the pros, everyone kind of comes back home. And they have pro-am leagues and whatnot. And at that point, I wanted to play against the guys that were now on scholarship that had been away from school. And as I started to play against them, I started to gain confidence. And I started to say, hey, I need to transfer because I can play with these guys, and I feel I'm better than some of these guys. So I go to my dad and I say, hey, I think I'm gonna transfer. And at the time, my dad, he didn't say a lot of words. He just showed up to games, sat back. He was tough on me. And like Jack said, I think it was Jack, my dad always found something not to let me settle. I might have 50 points. He might be, well, man, you missed a free throw, and you might have did this, and you look like you were a little tired. He would always find something to kind of keep me going or keep me motivated. So as I'm playing against these kids, I started to gain, I wanted to transfer, and my dad just begged me, please don't leave. Please don't leave. And so I said, no, I think I need to go because I'm looking at student debt racking up. I'm looking at all this stuff. Parents still working 2 jobs because they wanted to send a kid to college. They wanted a kid to graduate. They weren't even thinking of the NBA. They were like, hey, we have high school education. Our level is high school. We want to get one of our kids or 2 of our kids to go to college. So that's what they were thinking about. They were taking out loans. I had loans. I said, no, let's just stop these loans. Let me transfer. He just begged. He said, please. He just kept begging. He called me back. Hey, you're not doing anything, are you? Hey, keep it there. Stay here. So I said, you know what? All right, Dad, I'm gonna stay. So I ended up staying, and the next year, NBA scouts started to come. And this was tough because it's not like now, you send a picture out, a million people might see it right now. Like literally when I was playing, one person had to tell somebody had to tell somebody to come to Augsburg, to come up there in the snow to a small gym. Another person had to say something. And then as they started to come in, after the games, I remember my friends kind of coming out of the stands, kind of excited, like, hey, we saw the Bulls here, we saw Milwaukee here, you know, because they would come in, obviously they'd see a clipboard or a t-shirt or something that they were wearing, taking notes. And I can remember my dad never ever saying, I told you so, just stay where you're at. Because, you know, older people, they have wisdom. They may not have a Harvard education, but they have wisdom. They've seen this movie of life before. That's what we tell young kids too. That's why I always love teaching young kids basketball, is because where they're at, I've seen it already. I've been to it already. I was just in New York a couple of days, meeting with an agent, and some of the same things I went through, a lot of his players went through. It's a cycle, it's the same thing. And so, I didn't mean to jump off on a tangent like that, but so I get drafted, so the last time, I lost my train of thought, jumping off on a tangent, but so it was at Augsburg, thank you. And the scouts were coming in, and season ends, and now it's time for pre-draft camp. Pre-draft camp, you have to get into pre-draft camp, really, if you think you're gonna go to the NBA. There's other routes, you can go overseas, you can go to mini camp, you can go to summer camp, but really, that's where the first major camp is in Portsmouth. And they take the 64 top kids in college, minus the top 10. The top 10 kids usually don't have to go to these pre-draft camps. But if you're looking to get drafted anywhere from 10 through 23 or second round, you need to go to these camps. So I was trying to get into this camp, and it was stressful because I knew I had the talent, and I just wasn't getting an opportunity. My agent would apply, he would call the committee and ask them, you know, if I can get in. They would send them tapes, get denied. Call again, get denied. And at that point, it was stressful, so I said, you know what? I said a prayer. I remember in my dorm, or in my apartment, just saying, you know what, God, I'm not gonna stress about this. You just take me where I'm supposed to go. I feel like I need to go this way. I feel like I deserve to go this way, but you just take me where I need to go. I ain't gonna stress about it. And I always tell kids this, of staying ready. I trained, even though they kept telling me months, weeks leading up to the camp, I kept training as if I'm going to the camp. I thought I was really going to the camp. My agent would come back and say, no, it's not happening. So I kept training. And all of a sudden, 2 days before the camp, guy played at Iowa, J.R. Koch, injures his ankle. They got a spot that opens up at Portsmouth Invitational. And there was a guy pulling for me on the committee named Yale Dosey. And he was calling my agent saying, I'm trying hard, I'm trying to get him in. I really believe in the kid, I'm trying hard. So finally the committee said, let's let Yale's guy in. So my agent comes in, he's running through campus. Of course, I'm at the gym working out. And he's like, pack your stuff, we're going to Portsmouth, we're going. And he was kind of a jokester as an agent, so I thought he was playing. And he's like, I'm dead serious. Let's go, we're going. So, pack my stuff up, a day later, we go, I get to Portsmouth. And I just remember going in with controlled anger, aggression, everything was built up in me. And when I got to the camp, I knew I was the last one to get invited here. And I only got invited because somebody got hurt. So I ended up going through the camp, and my agents helped me put together a perfect game plan, and it just happened out that I ended up being the tournament MVP. So I was the best camper there, last one invited. We ended up winning all of our games. We won the championship at the camp, and then the rest was history. But the plan was put together perfect. I mean, my agents helped me. They wanted to show every single thing I could do. They wanted me to show athleticism. They wanted me to show IQ. They wanted me to show ball handling, everything. And that's why I always talk to kids. And I remember a parent at one of our games, I coached my son, me and Sterling did. And I remember one of the parents from one of the other teams asking me, what were you talking about? Because I'm always yelling at the kids, oh, we're playing basketball now. And everybody's thinking like, no, we know we're playing basketball, it's not football. And so they wanted to ask me like, why do you keep yelling at the kids? We're playing basketball. Because they're passing, they're cutting, they're sharing the ball, they're shooting, they're making good cuts, they're high-fiving, they're playing defense, they're talking on defense. That's basketball. Sometimes people think basketball is just coming up, shooting shots, making a long three, making a Steph Curry three. Sometimes people think that's basketball. But no, that's not basketball. Basketball is ups, downs. And a lot of coaches want to see how you react. They know you can play. They want to see, what I want to see is when you fail, I want to see the next game. Because as basketball players, you're going to fail. No one has a good game every game. But what really tells me a lot is how you respond when you have that bad game. What's your attitude like? What's your spirits like? Do you stick with it? Do you get down on yourself? How do you look the next game? How are you reacting with your teammates when you're not playing good? Those are the things that real coaches want to see. You think coaches want to come and see you make 10 threes every game? They don't want to see that. They want to see what's going to be like when it gets tough. That's when they can call on you. So always remember that. So I get drafted, or I finish the camp, and this is where my faith part started coming in strong and really getting me to understand how God works and how he moves. And a lot of times we think the ups and downs and the bad times are for us. No, they're probably protecting us. They're moving other people out of the way that shouldn't be around. It's a lot of reasons why. So I have this flawless camp. And mind you, I was a D3 guy. So I had to pretty much play perfect every workout, every camp, because the first time I didn't play well, the first thing they were gonna say is, well, he's from a D3 school. We knew he wasn't good, he had a good run. So I had a flawless camp. So from that, the camp is kind of set up just like this. Probably this whole middle section was every team. The GM coaches, right here. And we would play all day long. And from that point, after that camp, all the teams wanted a closer look. So they started calling me in. I'd have to go train here, get on a flight. I'm in Atlanta. Get on this flight. I'm back to Minnesota. Get on another flight. I'm back to Brooklyn. And it was tiring, but every camp, I gave it to him. Every camp, flawless. And to sum it up, the one camp that I went to, they called in, it was the Lakers. The Lakers at the time, they were gonna draft a guy. So I guess I was supposed to be the crash test dummy. Well, let's just bring in George and let's see what this other guy we're really gonna draft do. So I get in there, and I kind of knew, and your agent tells you, well, they really like this guy, you know. But it was an opportunity for me. Anytime somebody wanted to see me, I would go. So I get there, completely destroy the guy. And it was Phil Jackson's first year, and I just kind of remember going in like, this is Phil Jackson. Like, my goodness, this is Phil Jackson. So he had saw how the workout went, and so he had kind of told the other kid, hey, go shoot some free throws over there. And so he just grabbed me personally. So I kind of knew, okay, they lost interest in him already. So he started one-on-one. Hey, I want you to go here, run here. Go there, shoot, run back. Then you give me 3 or 4 things. You gotta be a student. As you go higher up, you have to be a student in basketball. You gotta think. We got game plans. Coaches want to know if you can do the scheme tonight. You have to know tonight we're pushing middle, tomorrow we're pushing baseline. You got to know every player's tendencies. This guy likes to go left, this guy likes to go right, this guy's right shoulder, this guy's left shoulder. You got to know a lot. Your offense, defense. We're running new plays today, so you got to remember that. Student, you got to be a student. And some people think it's just about running, jumping, dunking, you got to be a student, first of all. So Phil has me work out, and I just remember saying, hey, Mr. Jackson, you know, whatever you want to do. And he's telling me, he starts laughing, because he knew he saw the respect I had for him. And he's like, no, just call me PJ. I said, yes, sir, Mr. Jackson. And so he gave up. And so he had me do these drills, and he's like, okay, now go shoot some free throws. So I'm shooting free throws, and then he just walks out. I'm like, looking at the guys that are doing the workout, and he just got there. So they're looking at me like, I don't know. No, I was like, am I done? They were like, I don't know. So we just left. A couple weeks go by, my agent says, hey, the Lakers want you to come in again. And I said, you know, for what? At the time, they had Eddie Jones, my guy Kobe, rest in peace, had him. They had Rick Fox. They had all these players that were similar to me, a swing player. So I'm like, why do they keep wasting my time? They got a whole roster of swing players and guys that do the same thing I do. So coach comes in and he said, you know, you had a lucky workout last time you worked out. And so I'm like, Mr. Jackson, I said, that wasn't luck. And he said, no, you had a lucky workout. And so we want to have you come in here again and see if it was really luck. I said, it wasn't luck. He said, well, do it again. So he said, but this time I want you to run here, go here. I don't think I missed a shot the second time around. Left, and next thing you know, called my agent, said I had a good workout. I don't think I missed one shot. I did everything he asked me to, but why am I back here again? He said, I don't know, but if they call, we gotta go. Draft day comes, they draft me. End up playing 11 years, 7 in LA, 3 in Dallas, and my last year was in Golden State with Steph his rookie year. And here I am today. Today, as you saw the video, I'm a real estate developer. I have a nonprofit called Building Blocks. I work with underserved communities and underserved youth. And I got into this because really when I started in the NBA, there was a bunch of things that led me to doing what I'm doing now and why I'm passionate about it. One of the things that happened a lot was once I got to the NBA, all my friends that were teachers, worked as social workers, worked in community centers. They're always asking me, can you come talk to my kids? Come talk to my kids. We saw you on TV. Come talk to my kids. Can you come talk to my kids? So I'm coming in, I'm talking to the kids. And of course, I'm telling them, you know, hey, go to school, get your education, eat healthy, get sleep, make good decisions, stay out of trouble. Well, as I started going over and over, seeing there's kids that's missing for weeks at a time. I come in like, man, where's she at? He said, well, homeless. Where's little man at? Little man I was talking to, where's he at? Well, you know, I don't know. He's here some days, he's here not. And figure out that he's staying at auntie's house tonight, mom's boyfriend tomorrow night, grandma's house the next week. There's no stable housing. So I said, I'm coming in talking about eating vegetables and green vegetables and going to school and get an education. These kids don't even know where their next meal is coming from or where they stand at. So I have to really do something to really, if I'm trying to work with some kids, get them out of survival mode. And that's why I said, well, let me start my affordable housing complex and I'll house my nonprofit on the first floor. And then that way, when kids are in a safe environment, families are in a safe environment, they could listen to what I'm trying to say to them as far as preaching to them as far as getting education, eating healthy, once they get out of survival mode. And from this building, things have just kind of taken off in other cities. People have came and saw this model that I've started in New Orleans, west of Georgia, North and South Carolina. And so they basically said, hey, we want this building in our community. So that's what I'm doing now. But I want to end with parents, support your kids, but I like to call it the 50-50. And I think it was Jack again that said, you know, the young lady, she wants you to be right to the point. No sugarcoating. A lot of times I see a lot of sugarcoating going on with parents. Parents are afraid to let their kids fail. Parents are afraid to tell their kids where they're really at. It's okay, son, your skill's not there yet. Oh, you're the greatest. Nope, you're the greatest, you're the greatest. No, be honest, it's okay. Because most parents are such in a rush to have their son or daughter be ranked #1 in the nation in 5th grade. Well, I know a lot of people that were ranked #1 in the fifth grade, they didn't pan out. That's as good as they got. So take your time. It's a process. It all happens. I tell my son all the time, you can't tell hard work when to show up. It'll come. Eventually, it'll come. See, most of us are impatient. We go work out for a week. I've been shooting with Danielle all week. I've been hitting my shots. I've been shooting all week. Come to the game on Friday, I can't make anything. Go back to Danielle. I've been shooting all week. Oh yeah, it's gonna be on. I ain't miss all week. Come game time, 1 for 14. And then we get discouraged because we're trying to tell our hard work, okay, I've been working hard, now show up now. I've been working hard, show up now. That's not how it works. It comes when it comes. And hard work doesn't forget the work you put in. You may think it does, but it doesn't forget. It keeps going, it keeps going. But then when it clicks, all that hard work comes back. So instead of your week worth of workout with Danielle, and on Friday you making your shots, when you go 6 months of hard work, when it comes in, you'll see the difference. So keep working. I'm gonna leave with that and maybe open up for a couple questions if you guys would like. Any questions? questions. You know, she said, during my challenges, do I ever feel like quitting? I have at times, but it's something about the uncomfortable situation or someone saying no that makes me comfortable. When it's, oh, you're great, man, this is it, you're great. I'm uncomfortable. When it's, you can't guard him, I'm comfortable. Really? It's always been what made me comfortable, is being uncomfortable. And so, but there were some times where you're like, is this it? And you feel like quitting. Also, too, with quitting, is we don't know where our breakthrough is coming. We don't know when it comes. And I think one of the things I've able to been successful in basketball and in business after is because I go into this like 100% no doubt. And you see the people that the finish line is right there. You can't see it, but they quit. They had one more step, and they gave up. I'm going until like I know for a fact that it's over, it's a wrap. I can't do it anymore. And so that's one thing, is keep going, keep pushing until it's 100% no doubt.
You have any challenges coming back from an injury?
Oh, that's what the joke I was telling Danielle is. It was hurting me, watching me dunk. My knees started hurting just looking at what I used to do, because now 42, but when I retired, I was 33, 34, and I had joints of a 65-year-old. My insides looked like I was 65 if you took my scans. And so injuries are part of the game. But I had two injuries, 2 ankle injuries, and one I had to get cleaned up once I finished. And I questioned that. When I finished playing, it was hard for me to walk. Like, probably that's why me retiring after 11 years was so peaceful, is because one, I had started planning that I'm not gonna play basketball forever. Some people think I'm gonna do it forever. I was always grateful of saying, hey, I got a 3-year contract. What happens after 3 years? Let me make a plan. I got another 4-year contract. I got 4 years to make a plan, because it might be over. 2 more years. And so that is one of the things that, going back to you coming back from injuries, lost my train of thought again, I'm sorry. But injuries, me retiring, coming back, I had to get my heel chopped off and screws put in, because, you're supposed to walk, it goes heel, ball, toe. Well, my heel was shifted over to the left, so I was pretty much going toe. That's it, no heel. So, retired, got that done, screws put in my foot, and it was a long recovery. And I was like, why did I do this? Why did I play in the NBA? So, and recovered, and so everything is good, but yeah.
In your experience, how do you deal, or your team deal with a person who's a negative influence on your team?
That's good. He wanted to know how we deal with, on my team, in professional or coaching kids now?
Well, no, as a professional.
As a professional? I was really lucky to play with positive thinking, confident players. And I was just at Kobe's memorial, and I saw a lot of teammates and stuff I played with, and just that's when it hit me, like, I've played with some of the greatest players ever to play this game. And thinking is, we always stay positive. There was not too much negative thinking because those guys had supreme confidence in themselves. We get down 20 points, our conversation is, oh, we good. We're gonna walk them down, we good. Our coach, Phil, he doesn't allow negative thinking. You know, he's Zen master, positive, we're meditating. He doesn't allow that. He's joking. He's coming in the locker room when we're down 20 points, telling us we got them right where we want them, guys. And everyone's like, Coach, what are you talking about? We down 20 points. And that's how he is. He stays calm. If anybody ever watched a Phil Jackson team, even with Michael, we're down, team is running going on the run, 10-0 run, three-pointer, layup. You'll see our coach sitting there, legs crossed, and we'll like, Coach, timeout? Like, no. Y'all got it into it, you get out of it. Most coaches are running, throwing their suit coat. He don't believe in that. He says he's the leader, he's the captain. If we see him get frantic, then they will. So he stays cool. Because you can think better when you're cool. Cool mind, and you'll be able to think better. When you get frantic, you'll make a mistake. There was somebody over here. Yep. I think I was just born with it. I don't know. I don't know what gets me when there's a challenge in front of me. I don't know what makes me go a level higher when you get doubted. I don't know what makes me go harder when I fail at something. It was, I try to tell kids, when I got cut, I was ready to come back next year like, Coach, what I need to do. I wasn't mad, I wasn't pouting, like, hey, what I need to do? I need to work on my left hand, I need to shoot, what was doing? I'm a little short, that's the part, that's a good question, but I don't know. But it always burned me up when I couldn't get something done. Excuse me.
Well, I'm saying that because a lot of kids these days, they get so discouraged, and a lot of them have to get social media and everything else is coming. It's almost kind of have to grow a lot of age, but that's something that we're making the kids say, hey, I did this.
It was the confidence, I think. Maybe it was false confidence, but I was like, I can make this next year, and I just believed in myself, like, I can do it, like, I can get this done. I tricked myself, it was just because I didn't shoot my free throws good. I just gotta make my free throws better. I always played mind games with myself and tricked myself into thinking to keep going. I don't have a favorite Bible verse. I'm a very spiritual person, but I don't have any verses that are like stick with me. I put on my shoes. I'm really into treating people how I want to be treated and giving respect. I turn the other cheek a lot. When people, and what's always got me excited, and people think that I'm crazy, is that my faith has always taken me to better places. When someone does me wrong, the nicer I am, the greater it is. When someone stole my car, I was like, man, why you take my car? I haven't done anything to anybody. It's because he had a better one waiting for me. It was always came back. When people tricked me out of money or took some money from me, I had some insane contract with Nike that if you did this, this, and this, and you made it to the championship, you got this bonus. Well, I did it 3 times in a row, like on accident. They just throw these extra incentives in there because I won 3 championships my first 3 years. So it's always worked out. And people ask me, like, why do you get excited when bad things happen? Because I always believe there's good on the other side.
So you mentioned that you have North Carolina and Louisiana, and then you go back and forth from Minnesota and Sacramento. Any Sacramento buildings going up, or?
Not yet. Coming. Coming soon. Coming soon. And it, I can't remember, I went and spoke at an after-school program over off Broadway by that Target. And there was a little neighborhood over there that I'm like, oh, looks like home. Let's just run down a little bit. And so I went and started working with some of the kids and talking to them, and I'm like, I think I want to do something here. Because I always like to be and start with things that I have a base. I live there, have friends there, family there. She said, what advice do I have for beginning basketball players? It's just start. Just start. You know, because we all may be intimidated, and because there might be someone your age that can dribble a little bit better. Well, they've been at it longer. But just start, because you can't get going, you can't start improving until you start. And just understand it's a process that we all get better, we all develop our skills at different points, at different times. You may be a phenom that we don't even know, because some people just start things and they pick it up faster than people who've been doing it for 5 years. But you never know until you try, until you start.
What is it from your basketball where it's coaching closer to business?
Ooh, that's good. He said, what is it in my basketball career that's helped me in business? Well, one is, in business, you have to stay even keel. So I learned that from Coach. You gotta stay even keel because there's ups, downs, good parts of the business, bad part. No one's profitable every month. I don't get every grant I apply for. You just gotta keep going. And I always go back to Coach was extremely hard on me. Like, extremely hard on me. I'll tell you a story, is my dad was always on me of, shut your mouth, get there early, I don't want to hear nothing you're saying in the media. He would watch every game. Mind you, in Minnesota, we're 2 hours. We start 7:30 in LA. It's already 9:30. He's up watching every game. He's watching every move I make. He's watching how I sit on the bench. Some games I would get in, 30 seconds in, minute left to go in the game, I kind of went to the table. He would call me, yelling. He wants me to act like this is the best 30 seconds I'm getting in the game and life. He always stayed on me. So I remember, as years goes on, Phil started playing me more and more, and year after year, we would come in the film room, and Coach Jackson would have the tape already queued up. And we were all learning the triangle, and we were all kind of making mistakes. But every film session, he was always on me. He was always showing my clips. He was always showing my mistakes. And I can't even talk how he was telling me, and like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And I'm like, man, Coach, everybody making that pass. What do we do here? What do we do? What do we do? Just think, you know how many games in the NBA? There's 82 a year. So like, we watch film after pretty much every game. So he's always on me. So I'm like, man, what does this guy got against me? Second year, third year. Third year, I kind of had a little more clout, and I could say something back. And he's like, what are you doing here? What kind of cut do we make? And I'm like, I got you. Coach, that ain't even me. That ain't even me. And he looked, and he was like, oh, well, he's doing it because you were doing it. So I'm like, I said, man, I can't even win with this guy. So he calls me in, my fourth year goes by, he calls me in. We get to New York, he says, come to my room, we laugh. Come upstairs, sit down. I'm like, what's up, coach? He's like, you think I pick on you? And I thought, I had my dad in the back of my mind because my dad is always on me. I had him in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, nah, coach, nah. Nah, you good? No. He started laughing. He's like, nah, come on, man, tell me the truth. Do you think I pick on you? And then I was like, looking around, making sure my dad wasn't around. I was like, yeah, coach, man, what I do to you, man? I don't say nothing. I come in here, I'm just... And he started laughing. He's like, look, he's like, I had to do the same thing with Horace in Chicago. He said, I like how you take criticism. I like how you have thick skin. He says, I can't yell at other people like I can yell at you. And you guys are making the same mistakes, so when I'm yelling at you, I'm really yelling at him too, because I know he made that same pass as well, but I need you to just take it from me. And I need you, and I had to tell you this because I didn't want you to haul off on me or do something crazy, because I know I've been pushing you pretty far. So, but back to your story is how he deals with everybody different. I take all of that into business. All the people that work for me understand I gotta deal with each person different. Business, things that come up that don't happen, you gotta keep moving, you gotta keep dealing with it. Things happen, situations happen in the building, this situation happened, I gotta stay calm because I know the employees, they watch and see how I react. All of that. Teamwork. Teamwork. When you're running a business, I gotta have reliable people. I gotta be here. I got a son I'm with all the time. So I gotta know my role. I gotta empower people. I gotta know what you're doing. Everybody's gotta stay in their role. And I gotta make sure, like, don't get in that lane. She's a shooter. You dribble. You know what I mean? I'll set it up. I'll call the plays. Everybody gotta know their lane. So I take all of that and I translate it into business. So that's what I do. Thank you, guys.
I learned so much going into this. Ruthie, you have anything? She wanted to say something.
No, I just thank you all for coming out and for spending this time. But I think that's one thing I like about, just someone that uses basketball, uses sports as a platform. And to the parents, don't get faint and, encouraging your children and kids, and not try to live your dream to your kids, but encourage them. And to the coaches, you have a huge role in athletes' lives. You have a huge role in the influence and ability to encourage them and lift them up, and in a loving way, of course. And I know that coaches have different styles, but I'm just thankful that we can create this space to have amazing speakers like Mr. George, and also just thank you, Danielle, and thank you, Scott P4HIM, for this opportunity. And I think it's great. If hearing his story don't make you better, then I don't know, but thank you so much. It was awesome. So thank you so much, Danielle.
I'm going to answer your question for me and for what we have right here. She said, what's your favorite Bible verse? And I don't remember the rest of the question, but go ahead. It's funny because everybody on the panel here, and Devin also covered it, but the first Bible verse that I actually put on the sheet of paper that I gave you guys is, preach the word, be prepared in season and out of season, correct, rebuke, encourage. And so it's kind of funny that I chose that. I think it's all God orchestrated because that's how I live my life. Because we all talked about, we want to be corrected. We want to be free to correct other people, rebuke, and encourage. And that's what we're really here to do, is encourage you guys to be better parents, players, just not necessarily reps on the court, but in your mind, because it's all a mindset. And so some things that I do to stay ready, just spiritually. And God is the most important thing in my life. He made me, He created me, and He allowed me and gave me basketball as a platform. And that's really, He allowed everybody to be here right now because of basketball, because I know all you guys because of basketball. I mean, even my best friend from high school, we played basketball together. So basketball was so big in my life that I wrote down 8 things, and I did not give these to you guys. They kind of came to me yesterday. Number 1 is pray. When I feel close to God, I feel like I can do anything, and fear diminishes. So I have no fear to do anything. Second is read His Word. Share your faith. Get your priorities straight. So I'm home on time because I'm married now, so I can't stay in the gym till 1 a.m. Believe that God is at work. And I feel like that's a big part of Devin's story, is he always had that in him, and that's what was in him. It was pushing him. He always believed that something bigger than him was at work. And keep an eternal perspective. Encourage one another and don't lose hope or trust. And I heard this quote yesterday about trust. And it was not necessarily to trust people and love God, but love people and trust God. And so think about that for a minute. It made me step back, because we can't always trust people in our lives, but we can always trust our Creator. So Ruthie, do you want to say anything and close us in prayer?
Last thing I want to say, I know we talk about being ready. My parents, probably, I can count on one hand how many games they went to. But what they did for me, they had a big old pot of red beans and rice and cornbread, and they set me up good. So I ate good before the game and good after the game. So they played that role in that. But yeah, so my verse is in Luke, talk about to whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. And when God gives you something, like Devon George, well, He's giving you your struggles and your challenges, now you use it as a platform to share. And every day we go through things, I'm telling you, you get up, if you're breathing, it's a beautiful day. If you live and you have opportunity to be a better version of yourself. So with that said, we're going to close in prayer. Everybody bow their heads. Dear God, I just thank you for your faithfulness. I thank you for every families that are represented here, God. We just set ourselves in agreement with your word, and your word said nothing should ever separate us from your love and your power. We thank you for the ones here. We ask you as we leave this place that the angels will go before us, behind us, side of us, and over us, that we continue to be what you want us to be, God. We thank you tonight for Danielle. Thank you for Play for Him, God. Continue to use us as your vessels so that, God, we can continue to uplift your name. We claim these things in your mighty name, Jesus. Amen.
You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors, they kinda tell me what I'm thinking. I fell in love with the way we are and the way we lose it. There's something different about us, and the reason why we stay. We fly around like paper planes, they never know where we will fall. Nobody can see us, still they wanna tear us apart. There's something different about the way we are.